What's up, friends? I rarely go live, mostly because I like to not think about the interaction that needs to happen. I just want to connect. And I realized today, why not? That's what I do in real life. I go live. I've recently been talking with people a lot about this idea of why do you do what you do? And a lot of the response I get is chuckle, laughter, right? People talk about, well, I'm doing what I do because that's what I do. It's what pays the bills. And we use phrases like, so how are you? And someone will say, living a dream. I have to ask, how many of us are actually living our dream? Now, I realize that life happens. Yeah, life happens to a lot of us. And as a result, we adjust, we adapt to whatever comes our way. And I applaud all of you. I applaud myself for making adjustments to handle life. That's actually a strength. That's actually courage. That's actually something that deserves reward and recognition for taking the time to adjust, to adapt, and to find your way through life, because there's no roadmap, as we all know. But I have to beg the question always, why are we doing what we're doing when I look at some of the statistics around the inefficiencies we have at work, the inefficiencies we have in our family, the spike in the rise for mental wellness. By the way, we all need mental wellness, and I think we all should pursue whatever that looks like. I think we need to read, right? I remember growing up, my father would tell me, according to statistics, less than 1% of the United States would read one book in a year. I don't know if that's still true. I don't know how many books you've read. And maybe in the chat, you can tell me how many books you've read this year, because that's probably something that's worth clapping for. And the idea of thinking got lost somewhere in the last, I don't know how many years. I won't even claim to say it. I'll just say this, that many of us, the majority of us, are just doing what we do, and we're making the best of it. I also want to acknowledge that while, number one, you're accepting life and you're doing what you can, number two, you're making the best of the situations you find yourself in. And I applaud you for that, because too often we don't get the recognition we deserve. Someone's always saying we should be doing better. But I want to take a second and applaud you for making not only the best of it, but like really trying to figure it out. You're giving it your all. At the same time, my heart aches. My heart aches. My heart aches grossly for all of us, because I realize that many of us we're doing what we do because it's what we've always done. And or we're now in a situation where we're stuck doing what we do, right? We've got to pay the bills. We've got to pay the mortgage. We've got to pay child support, and whatever the case is, the idea is that we've now found ourselves in this situation. And my role in life is to help you stop staying on the hamster wheel. My role in life is to shake you, to awaken you, to find out what are you doing and why are you doing it. And I often start with a question when I meet people. I don't ask them, what are you doing? Or what do you do? I ask them, who are you? And the reason I ask, who are you, is because it begs a deeper question. We're so used, particularly Midwesterners, and accustomed to just talking at a surface level. And as a result of talking at a surface level, we don't get to engage in those very scary, sometimes difficult heart matters. And I get it. I'm not pretending like it's easy. But if we don't get into the heart matters for the short or long period of life, depending on how you want to look at it, period of time we have here, what are you doing? Who are you interacting with? And why are you not getting the help that you deserve? You need the support you deeply desire and you long to have that would make a difference for you. I've recently been talking about the number of friends I have, and they're probably down to a handful. And I don't say that to say, well, my circle's tight. I'm saying it's more like, wow, it really, in order for me to have the level of vulnerability I need to thrive in life, it requires me to have a small circle because there aren't that many people who are willing to do the work. And some of you on the call, you follow me, so you're probably willing, but some of you are not. And my question to you is, at what point will you start to live for real? Because being here once, miserable, sorting through, pretending, is just not worth it. But we do it. We do it all the time. We do it to get by. We do it for the gram. And the gram is cool, right? Things are great. I'm all about it. I'm a Taurian, so I'm all about that life. Yet at the same time, what about you? What about your soul? What do you actually fit? Those are the kinds of questions I like to ask people. Not because I want to get them dark and drive down this path of, oh my God, you need to change your life. Nah, more like, yo, can I partner with you with what you're doing? How can I add value to who you are? Why? Because if I can add value to who you are, that's not only going to transform your life and move you closer to what you desire, but it's also going to transform mine, because now I get to be of service in a meaningful way with who I naturally am. I'm not looking for opportunities just to, unquote, serve. I'm looking for opportunities to be who I am in the best light possible, because when I do that, great things happen. But the same is true for you. When you show up as who you really are, great things happen. You don't have to run and retreat to find alcohol, unnecessary sex, or whatever you run to. We all have something that we tend to run to when we're not locked in doing and being who we actually are. It's that I'm talking about. And the only way we actually get to move away from that is to actually live the purpose that's inside of us, to live the thing that gives excitement to us. That's why I asked the question, who are you? That's why I want to know, who are you? What are you up to? How can I add value? How can I jump in on that with you? I recently met some people in the Virginia area and in the Dallas area when I was speaking, and it's turned into some fabulous relationships where I've been able to connect because people are on and they're about something. And I know you know what it's like when you meet somebody who's about something. As long as you're in your right mind, you want to jump on. You want to hear about it. You want to talk about it because it stimulates something deep inside of you, for those of us that know ourselves. And I get it. It can feel daunting to be vulnerable and say, I don't know where I am, or I don't know what's next. I understand that. But here's the deal. You're worth it. Everything about you is worth it, because there's something on the inside of you that has yet to be discovered, if you haven't, that is worth discovering, because once you discover it, everything changes. Like, not one thing, everything changes. So I'm about you finding that. It's imperative that you find that. When I'm training, as I travel, one of the things that I talk to people about when they ask me, well, how did you come across it? Just some basic inquiry. What do you love to do? What drives you? What gives you life outside of work, unless work really is in alignment with who you are? What makes you stay up at night? Not the bills I'm talking about in terms of fantasy and what you can create and what you dream about. It's those kinds of things that really open up opportunity. That's the kind of stuff. Life is already a very interesting journey. For those of you who live faith walks, man, that's a whole conversation in itself, right? I got some things I'm believing for that I'm still waiting to see how they're going to all play out. But that's part of the journey. That's part of living, versus I know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly I need to do this. I need to do that, which are all really great things. Consistency is lovely. Yet at the same time, what do we do after that? Yeah, scent money is like, once we discover it, that's when the magnificent obsession begins. I love that. The magnificent obsession. You're exactly right. Once you discover that, then all of a sudden life, it's like you have a new set of eyes. My favorite all-time movie is The Matrix. And as much as metaphorical as it is, it's real. It's extremely real. And you deserve to have that experience. That's why I do what I do. That's why I talk about the basic stuff I talk about. Because until enough of us get this, we're not living. We have the problems, the challenges. We have all the stupid politics and all that stuff that we all get into it over. Like, think about it. We're going at each other's throats over philosophies, over lies, over misdirection. But when you get that magnificent obsession that Scent Money was talking about, everything changes. And all I care about is helping you find that. That's what I do. That's what I do. I realize your positions in corporate don't matter. How much money you make don't matter. Knowing who you are is everything, because all of a sudden your circle changes. The cycle of how your life is lived changes. And I'm all about trying to help make that pop, because there's something that's so sexy, so unique, so valuable, so transformative when your lights come on. The lights of your eyes and the light of your pineal gland like pops open. It's that is worth the pursuit of. When was the last time you felt that? This is going to go on YouTube and everywhere else. Put it in the chat. When was the last time you felt that? I started a group called Outer Inner Wellness, designed to have these kinds of conversations, to take the videos that I place up and begin to dive deeper into some of the concepts so that we can all live a better experience of our life. Because when we live a better experience of our life, we don't live in fear. Could you imagine your life without thinking someone was trying to take advantage of you? Goodness. Could you imagine your life without thinking someone was trying to hurt you? Could you imagine your life being free to love? Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And that's what happens when you begin to discover you and you begin to live from that place. Outer Inner Wellness, my group, that's what it's all about. You can click on my YouTube, wherever you're looking at now. There's a link. We're going to start having calls on Sunday nights. You're welcome to come. It's free. You don't have to. There'll be recordings for those who are a part of the group. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here because of right now. I'm here because of this moment, wherever you are, at work, at home. What is it that you're looking for? A couple other questions that going back to what I was sharing a moment ago. What pisses you off? Like, sometimes the discovery of what ticks you off is what you might find your gifting, your talent, your strength in. Because what pisses you off may give you focus, not to just fight. I mean, fighting is one thing. But to just strategically employ your mind, your money, your energy, and your time is a very different conversation. A much more strategic chess game. Nothing wrong with being on the front lines, but it's the generals behind the scenes that make all the moves. So getting your mind engaged in that kind of stuff may give you that. I don't know. But I know there's nothing like you when you're alive. I know there's nothing like you when you're living your truth. I know there's nothing like you when you're not living afraid, protective of everyone around you. It's one of the things I love about being out of the country. When I'm out of the country, people just love on me because they have a sense of community. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of me. And it's extremely inviting. What would your life be like if you didn't walk around afraid? With all this anxiety, with all this imposter syndrome, with all this narcissism. It's so-and-so, they're a narcissist. And all that stuff, man. Listen, they may be, they may not be. The only question is, how is it impacting you because of what's showing up in your life, the strength in your life? It's not always somebody else. And I'm not saying we have a problem. I'm saying that unless we're living from not the truth of our experience, that's very different. The truth of who we are in our core, in our being, in our mind, our body, and our spirit, unless we're living from that, then we're living from symptoms. And when we live from symptoms, all we can do is treat symptoms. And then now we're putting up crosses in front of everybody. You can't come near me. This person did. That is just no way to live. That's just no way to live. It prohibits us from authentically showing up in the majesty and the power of who we are as individuals. It prohibits us from experiencing the love, the light, and the exchange that's possible. And it doesn't matter how they show up. It only matters how you show up, because you get to set the tone. They get to be who they are. Whether it's straightforward, deceitful, or not, let them be. How are you showing up? How are you showing up? That's where life actually exists. And your ability to be present. My son uses this phrase that I've been using more and more to help me stay focused. Be where your feet are. Right now, I'm in Indianapolis. He just bought a new crib, hanging out with him. The goal is to be where my feet are. I'll work in between, do what I got to do. But what I found is that when my mind starts to stray, when I start to feel fear, and sometimes I feel fear, Sometimes I feel anxiety just like anybody else. It's how fast can I reset my mind, reset my intention back to the present moment. It may not be super grandiose where I'm thinking about, oh my God, the final fitting and what I'm going to do with brides and grooms. It may not be the outer inner wellness and how I'm helping people. It may not be El Grupo Noble when I'm out speaking. It may not be any of those things. It might just be I'm right here in this brand new kitchen experiencing life, that I get to be available. It might just be that simple. But it's in those simple, simple things that bring me back to the present moment. And that's what I offer you. What do you got to do to get back in the moment? That's when the anxiety fades away. That's when you get present. I'm going to give you a couple hacks that I use. One, I just gave you one that I use. Two, frequency sounds. I put on frequency sounds to calm my mind, to calm my spirit, to slow me down. Especially when I'm feeling like I need to be doing this or I need to be doing that. I use that to slow me down. When I use a lot of piano music to strengthen my focus. If I don't want to feel tranquil, like the frequency music makes me sound, I'll use piano because it stimulates me. I feel like moving, but it's still very ground, very bass, very alkaline in nature.